Hi everyone, Joellen here, and welcome to Washed in Watercolor. Getting your colors to glow and capturing the sense of light in watercolor is sometimes challenging. Using the wrong color in overworking areas may dull a painting. By thinning out your paint and taking advantage of the white paper, your colors should glow. In this tutorial, I'll demonstrate how to paint this glowing orange slice. The colors I'll be using for today's demonstration include Winsor Lemon, Cadmium Yellow, Winsor Orange red shade, Winsor Red, Quinacridone Magenta, Perylene Maroon, Winsor Violet, Ultramarine Blue, Winsor Blue Green shade, Prussian Blue, Sap Green, and Perylene Green. My brushes include Rosemary Series 402 pointed rounds and a Princeton quill. As always, I'm painting on Arches cold press 140-pound paper. I begin with a basic drawing of the oranges. This should be fairly easy since they are circular shapes. I also pick and choose which leaves I want to include. Once I'm happy with my drawing, I'll erase any unwanted lines. I decided not to use any masking in this painting, but you may use some masking if you're painting a lawn. I begin by wetting the paper with clean water. I'm taking care to carefully go around my drawing. I've pre-wet my paints already, and now I drop in some ultramarine blue. I chose ultramarine blue because it is a complement to orange. Working wet into wet paint, I add touches of Winsor Blue Green shade. Next, I add touches of Sap Green. For filming, I have my painting in a stationary position, but remember that you can rotate your painting or tilt it back and forth to spread the paint in a better way. I add touches of lemon yellow to this mixture. I decided to break up the edges of some of the leaves with just a little bit of water. While the background is drying, I'll work on the foreground. Again, I'll wet some of the area with clean water. using my blue mixture very watered down, I'll add just a little tint to the foreground. I grab a little bit of quinacridone magenta and add that into the wash in the foreground, and then I just add a touch of Winsor orange red shade to the area underneath the oranges and leaves. I pick up a little bit of sap green and add it to the wet area. I need to darken this area in the front with a little bit of my blue mixture. I add a little bit more warmth or heat to this area. At this point, I'm happy with my background and foreground, so let's just give everything a dry. With my flat brush, I'll try to smooth out some of the curves. Using Winsor Lemon, I'll paint in all of the bright and light yellow areas. Now I'll organize some of my reds. I'm pulling from Winsor Orange, Winsor Red, Quinacridone Magenta, and Perylene Maroon. I'll start with the orange on our left-hand side, and I'll just start by painting that with a little bit of Winsor Orange, and then I'll slowly progress to some of the reds that are a little darker. And I am working somewhat wet into wet paint, even though I did not wet the orange prior to starting painting. I'm fussing with this one a little bit too much, so I think it's time to move on. Using Winsor orange mixed with a little bit of cadmium yellow, I'll start to paint the orange segments. Using the same combination of Winsor orange and cadmium yellow, I'll move on to the orange slice. I need to pay particular attention and really preserve the light or the light yellow at the top of the orange. So if you're painting along with me, just be very careful that you do not work too much in that area. There are what looks to be these little threads that run through the pulp of the orange in the very light area. So I'm using a very watered down, very light mixture of that yellow with just a tad of my Winsor violet in there, just to get some of these little separations. In order to create this beautiful transparency, luminosity, glow to the orange, I want to think about a few different things. I want to think about having a nice value contrast. So the pith of the orange, it technically is white, or we think of it as being white, but in this case, it is somewhat dark, and I'll use some of my Winsor violet with some Winsor orange in order to create a little dark wash on the pith. As the light shows through this area, there'll also be some type of heat. So by using more Winsor orange, that will help to give that pith or even the fleshy part a beautiful glow. And then I want to be thinking about pure colors. So making sure that I don't contaminate my beautiful yellows or oranges in any way. I'll just add a little bit of my Winsor orange along with my cadmium yellow to the left side of the orange slice here, and it looks a little bright, but I promise you that it definitely will work to help to create or illuminate the orange slice. I add a little bit more warmth or heat here. I am really bothered by the orange that I painted earlier on the left-hand side, so I'm just going to add a little bit of this brighter mixture to see if I can liven it up a bit. Now I'll work the orange on the right-hand side, so I'll add a little bit of cadmium yellow, which is just a little bit warmer, and then I'll go into my Winsor orange red shade. That looks so beautiful. The half orange facing us is in the shadow, so the pith that we normally think of as being white is not quite white. So let's just give this a little bit of a tone. Another way to get your colors to glow is through value contrast. By painting this orange a little darker in the back, and you can see here the dark is touching the light of the other orange will take on a beautiful glow. I'm still not quite happy with this orange on the left-hand side, so I am going to apply some water to it and then use a toothbrush to scrub the majority of the color out. I've scrubbed the majority of the color out, and now I want to make sure that it is entirely dry, and I'll apply some new color, just making it a little bit brighter, a little bit more cadmium yellow and Winsor orange added to the area. Okay, that looks much better. Wow, already it's starting to have just such a beautiful glow. At this point, I'm preparing a little bit of sap green with some ultramarine blue and a little bit of Prussian blue, and I'm now going to paint the leaves. My plan is to work wet into wet paint in each leaf. As I'm painting all of these leaves, I just wanted to thank everyone who took the time to watch, like, and comment on my last video. I really appreciated it. Thank you so much. If you do have a subject you would like to see me paint, or If you have some technique that you would like me to go over, please be sure to write it in the comments. Okay, at this point I'm pretty happy with the leaves, but now I need to really ground the oranges by darkening the shadow in the foreground. I add a few dark touches to the centers. Okay, I'm really happy with how this came out, and I think now I'll just sign it and remove the tape. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please remember to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.